This is the beautiful Wilier Zero SLR, the latest high-end race bike from the long-running Italian bicycle company. Probably the prettiest bike I've had to test this year. So I'm going to shut up and give you a closer look at this bike in all its glory. There are many reasons you might consider when choosing a new road bike. Things like price, value for money, the frame design, the equipment, components, the pro endorsement, whether it's won a Tour de France or not. And then you get into things like brand appeal, heritage, history, and looks. And based on the way this new Zero SLR looks, I think you could be forgiven for choosing a bike based solely on appearance alone. It is one sexy looking bike, probably one of the prettiest bikes I've seen in a long time. It's both modern and contemporary, yet elegant and conservative, all at the same time, wrapped up in this beautiful velvet red paint scheme with fairly pared back graphics. I think Wilier have really knocked it out of the park with this bike. Now, this Italian company has been making spectacular bikes since 1906 when they were founded. But I think they've really hit a new level, really achieved something quite special with this new bike. It's definitely the prettiest bike they've ever made, and they've made some very pretty bikes. There's something about Italian companies, must be something in the water, in the espresso. They know how to make a bike look just on point and just look so good you want to buy it based on looks alone. So let me point out some features on this bike, what's new about it when it released a year ago. And I'll save my thoughts on what it's like to ride for a follow-up video, so make sure you tune into my channel by subscribing to the button down below for my ride impressions on this beautiful bike. But yeah, let's go through some details on this bike. And yes, I have my hand deliberately here for one reason, which we'll get to in a bit. You may know why, but yeah, we'll save that for a minute. All right, let's dive in. The Zero SLR was launched in 2019 and replaced the Zero 6 before it, a 700-gram frame. So this is positioned as their lightweight all-round race bike for climbing, mountain stages and so on. And weight has been a focus, but they've also tried to add modern features like disc brakes and a bit of aero where they can, and integration with fully internal cable routing. So the weight has crept up compared to its predecessor, with a medium frame coming in at a claimed 780 grams. So a small weight increase, but that despite adding disc brakes and through axles, integration and a little bit of aero as well. For reference, this is a size large with a Dura-Ace build and carbon tubular wheels and weighs 6.7 kilograms on my scales, so well under the UCI weight limit of 6.8 kilograms. These tubular wheels do help keep the weight down. They weigh 1,380 grams, which is a big contribution to the overall weight of the bike. But personally, without a support car following me, I would have a set of clinchers and go with a weight penalty. But if you like tubs and you don't mind the downside to replacing tubs out in the middle of the countryside, then so be it. Anyway, back to the bike. So it's a lightweight frame designed to be as light as possible, but they've added aero where they can for free. So the fork blades, the head tube, and the seat post and seat tube are slightly aero optimized, but it's not being through a wind tunnel. They haven't really chased aero. They have a dedicated aero bike for aero performance. This is all about keeping the weight as low as possible. While they kept the weight as low as possible, they've also increased the stiffness, which goes up by a massive claimed 24% over that previous bike. So a big hike in stiffness. So that weight to stiffness ratio goes up, and that should improve the ride quality and give a much more responsive, better handling bike. It is a really clean, elegant, classy looking bike. Very modern and contemporary with disc brakes and that aero handlebar, keeping all the cables and hoses inside the frames and no visible cables apart from the DI2 wire down the rear mech. The only elephant in the room is the seat clamp. Now, that's definitely a case of function over form, which is odd for an Italian brand. But they put the seat clamp inside the top tube, which is normal with many high-end bikes. And rather than add extra material and smooth off that junction, they just left it exposed. So a small compromise in an otherwise really elegant looking bike. Personally, I don't mind it too much really. I'm not hanging the bike on the wall and sitting on my sofa and admiring it in the evening. I'm out riding it and getting the miles in. And when you're riding, you can't see it. And I'm not sitting outside a cafe admiring my bike. But if you're buying this sort of bike, and as we mentioned earlier, you are buying a bike based on looks, it's a shame they couldn't have found a more elegant way to integrate the seat clamp into the frame. But anyway, let me know what you think of that down below. There are some cool details on the front of the bike that I want to draw your attention to. The first is obvious, and you've probably already seen it. It's a one-piece carbon fibre handlebar and stem. It looks ultra modern, really clean, keeps all the cables and hoses inside the frame, and is the modern look we expect on a high-end bike in 2020. Got a computer mount. You can adjust the stack height really easily, so it's a really nice solution and something that Wilier have been doing for quite a few years now, so not new to it, and they've really made a good use of it on this Zero SLR. We've got an asymmetric fork to better handle the disc brake forces, and it's slightly aero optimized as well. Got a nice simple head tube badge as well. Well, it's not a badge, it's a sticker, but a nice simple logo. And then really neat are the through axles. They're not your standard through axles. They are 12mm in diameter, but they're Mavic's speed release system. And speed is a key word here, designed to make it easier and quicker to get the wheels out if you're in a hurry. So let me demonstrate. So where a normal through axle, you have to totally unwind the axle to get the wheel out. This one you pull out a little bit and that's it. So as you can see, the axle stays in the wheel. And you've got a closed drop out on that side, open on that side. And then when you tighten up the through axle, rather than guessing how tight to do it with other systems, there's a torque limiter built in, which will click like so. This actual bike costs 11,000 euros with a Shimano Dual Race Di2 electronic group set, hydraulic disc brakes and carbon tubular wheels. There's also a more expensive SRAM E-TAP version above it. Now, as you can see on the frame, there are no ports or holes for a mechanical group set because the frame is only compatible with electronic group sets. I think they have just launched a version with a mechanical group set though, with the cables, instead of going into the frame on the side, they go underneath the stem and into the stereo tube and head tube, as we've seen on some other bikes. So if the price of this bike is too rich for your wallet, there is a more affordable version coming out fairly soon. I'll put a link to that in the description down below. So that has been a super quick first look at the lovely Wilier Zero SLR. To be honest, I couldn't wait a few more weeks until I do a review on the bike to share it with you. So I thought I'd do a quick first look on the bike and just get your thoughts on the bike and what you think of the bike. Do you think it looks as lovely as I clearly do? Let me know in the comment section down below. As I mentioned before, there will be a full review coming out very soon, so make sure you subscribe to my channel if you don't want to miss that. And loads of other good content coming up soon, and it will be a busy few weeks of bikes, so make sure you hang around if you're into your bikes and tech. But that's all for now. Hope you enjoyed watching the video. Like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, of course, and I'll see you all again next time. Thank you for watching.